Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Harness News Update. It's Saturday, March 2nd edition, and we're here live on our presenting sponsor, harnesslink.com, because harnesslink.com is the only harness racing website truly dedicated to covering news and events in the standardbred industry worldwide. We're also sponsored by HarnessBid, because HarnessBid is a game changer, just like this show, for the standardbred and harness racing bloodstock industry. Provides buyers and sellers an easy-to-use online platform that offers global reach, unparalleled transparency, and convenience for you. Its customers, zero commission. So check out HarnessBid for more and to get started. And we are brought to you by our friends at the USTA. Very special Saturday episode. This is something I wanted to try to test out and to try to give more in-depth look at things that go on racing action over the weekend. Didn't go too crazy into it this weekend. It's kind of a test out. Let's see. We got to touch it on every track that goes what's going on this weekend and see what's going on. They're betting any major races and then a driver to watch, and we'll see how it goes. And this is something I'm looking forward to as stake season and harness racing season really picks up over the spring and summer. But before we get into that part, I also kind of want to try to implement more interviews on the show. So today I'm going to talk with John Barry of harnesslink.com, a very longtime veteran, a member of the media in this sport. And then after that, we will get into the recaps and previews of racing action. If you're looking at if there's a specific track or a specific time you want to get to, if you look in the description, there should be timestamps for every time between the interview and which track we talk about. If you want to come back to a track later, by all means, because I cover tracks from today and on Sunday. Yeah, so let's get into it and let's talk to John. All right. I'm now joined by, I think, the legendary John Barry, Harness Link's own John Barry. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. No legend, but just enamored with the sport for, since 1959. And so, and a lot of things have changed since then, and some for the better and some, I think, not for the better, but we can go into that. You know, I still love it as much as I ever did.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. So this interview is going to kick off my new Saturday show, and I hope to do a lot of previewing and recapping throughout the show. But I thought it'd be great to kick it off with someone who's been around, like you said, for 60 years, and you've seen the ups and downs, and you've seen the changes. But maybe just real quick, I know you have a really famous kind of story of how you got into the sport. Do you mind telling that real quick?
I don't mind. Misspent youth at the Chicagoland bowling alleys. And I was in a match game. I was 16 years old in a match game with all the older guys, of course. And I won it. As a matter of fact, I averaged 258 for my 3-game series. I had 774, and I won $15. So after the match, a gentleman came down by the name of Luke. He said, "I got some money for you." I said, "I just won my $15. I don't want your money." He said, "Well, we won a lot of money betting on you." And I said, "Well, that's your money. It's not mine. If I would have lost, I would have felt bad." So he said, "Let me take you out to dinner." So I agreed with that. I called my folks. And I said, "I'm going out to dinner with Luke." They didn't know who Luke was. And I thought we were going to the Peter Pan restaurant across the street, but we wound up at Sportsman's Park Racetrack. And he had a box there, number 41A. And I will tell you, he knew every single horseman, the great, the not so great, but they all knew Luke, and I got to meet them as well. And that particular night, Senator Frost won the American National Trot for Dick Buxton. And one race later, the 10th race, the final race, a young horse by the name of Sumac Lad won for a gentleman by the name of John Pete. And it just so happens that that's the morning of that day, where Dick Baker, who was I guess you would say an employee of Stanley Dancer's stable, he went to pick up a hearse for Mr. Birkmeyer, who was an owner, to check out this horse. When he came in the morning, everybody wondered who died. But no, he was just here to check on Sumac Lad. And Sumac Lad won that night in a very comfortable 2:02 1/5, which was a big trotting mile back in 1959. The deal was made. Sumac Lad, who probably had lifetime earnings of maybe $5,000 going into there, wound up with $885,000, wearing out 3 sets of free-for-all trotters.
Wow. That's crazy. So you just got invited to dinner one day, and that's crazy how life works. I think about that too. I've been in the sport, like my family's been in it since before I was born, but I got into it just because I saw a Facebook ad looking for a track announcer, and I said, "Why not? Let's just." I've never done anything like this. Why not? And 5 years later, or 4 or 5 years later, I'm getting to talk to you. So it's great. I love it.
Well, I've seen a lot over the years, and I'll tell you, I've met a lot of wonderful people from Stanley Dancer, of course, Curly Smart. Curly Smart was a legend in the business, incidentally. He was the one who helped get the Little Brown Jug race started back in the mid 40s. I met him in 1961. He was driving a trotter by the name of Lloyd's Demon, and this horse won. I don't know how he won because Curly Smart kind of weaseled his way through maybe an inch of space to get it done. And I got to know him, and we got to be very good friends. And every time I'd go past in Delaware, Ohio, I'd stop at his house and we'd have lunch together. And one of the great stories to show you how famous Curly Smart was in the business, he won the Little Brown Jug, the first one, incidentally. I kept misdialing his number one day, and I called information, a very prim and proper information operator came on board, and they're very, very proper, information. How can I help you? And I said, I need the number for T. Wayne Smart, 219 Fountain Street, Delaware, Ohio. She paused for about a half a second and said, Curly's number is 3635534. Curly, everybody knows Curly, a legend in the business, and
Yeah.
of course no longer with us. But I'll tell you, it was great to meet somebody like that, of such great esteem.
Well, yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, you've been around, you've seen it all. Let's kind of start where we think things are right now. Maybe it's kind of hard to gauge because I feel like purses are at an all-time high, obviously, or for a lot of places they're going. It seems to be going well, but horse population is not always there. How do you think we are doing right now in harness racing?
Well, I have concerns about the future, to tell you the truth. First of all, while we all love speed, but four claimers are going faster than Brett Hanover ever went in his great career. And I think that's going to take a toll on the horse population, the number of races in a particular card. And I know we've lost a lot of racetracks all over the country. I don't know how many of them, 20, 30 of them over the last 30 or 40 years. But we're losing a lot of horse population too. And so you're going to see less horses that are in the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old bracket who fill a lot of races. I don't see that continuing. I think that breeders are breeding their horses not for durability anymore, but just for speed. And that's a problem because they breed them for two or three seasons of racing.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they're a star, bingo, they got something else to carry on the tradition. If they don't, well, that's too bad. But I see that it's a bad trend in my eyes.
Yeah, it kind of seems to be like that in a lot of sports, though, too, right? Like we've seen, I like baseball. Baseball has changed. The closer can only go out for 3 or 4 batters nowadays. Back in the day, they could go 3 or 4 innings, right? So sports have all changed, but yeah, definitely harness race. The speed thing is a factor, but I don't know, how do you change that now?
I don't think you can change it
Yeah.
right now because the breeders are the ones that kind of control the industry as far as breeding stock is concerned. But you're right about baseball. We had the dead ball era when Babe Ruth hit 60 homers in 1927. Nobody ever thought that would get destroyed. And of course, all of a sudden we had somebody hit 73 homers and others more than 60, Roger Maris,
Yeah.
Sammy Sosa, et cetera, et cetera. And in bowling, it's changed. The equipment has changed so much. Now 150 bowlers are averaging 210 because they've made the equipment so different. And of course, that's popularized that sport. And that's a major thing in sports. Doesn't matter which sport, it's all improved.
Yeah. Because it's funny that you say that. So it's all speed, and then right after they're 3 or 4, the horse doesn't really. If they're not a superstar, like what they're a superstar, they're getting retired, right? They're going to the stud farm, and if they're not the superstar, you're right. There's not the filler claims or spots for them anymore. I've never really
And
thought.
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I never really thought of it that way too. That so you're saying, yeah, you think that if a horse isn't a star, they're not gonna have a spot anymore.
Well, you take a horse like Peter Blood had that got beaten 148. And Peter's been around a long time. He's won races in 210 and he's lost races in 148.
Yeah.
But what happens is he's got a great horse, but that horse might be a half a notch below the best of the best. He's lucky if he gets 10 mares bred to his horse a year.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing, and that's going to be a little problem in the future as well for the stars of today, because as more records are broken, those stars of today maybe only have a star life of 2 or 3 years when another one takes his place, and then all of a sudden it's just you're going to see a shortening of everything, racing careers, stud careers, and everything.
That's weird when you see that, because then you also think, though, to go to our sister sport of thoroughbreds, Secretariat's records are never going to get caught, it seems like, either, right? So it's weird that ours has went faster. Thoroughbreds have went faster, but they don't seem to do it at the top level.
Well, they go faster. Of course, his win when he went 224 and something for that mile and a half, I believe. 20. I mean, that's just incredible.
Yeah.
To me, to sustain a speed of 24 seconds a quarter in thoroughbred racing. And I go back to the Kelso days of 1965, and when he won all the Washington Internationals and everything, and he was a great racehorse. And the speed has not kept up with the harness racing speed, that's for sure. Our breed used to be one of durability. And that's why we have records on the books. Conqueror, who has a record that'll never be broken, 100 miles in 8 hours, 55 minutes, and 53 seconds. And he was the third horse to go 100 miles. So he broke two other records. Then we have records on the books for 50 miles, 30 miles, 18 miles, 6 miles, stuff like that. You're never going to see anything. I mean, once in a while in your state, in your province up there, I think they have the extreme night where they have races from 1/8 of a mile to 5 miles, or did so in the past. I don't think
I've never seen that here. I thought they had stuff like that in Ontario. Yeah, because in Western Canada, I've never seen too much crazy. I remember as a kid, we did do the 2 mile once, I think. So 4 laps around the half mile track, but I don't remember anything too crazy. And it's like, I think, is it Western Fair that might do 1 mile and 1/8 once in a while? And
yeah,
and I know Yonkers does it for their big races too. And I think it's interesting. And sometimes when I can't sleep and it's midnight, I turn on the Australian racing, and you see them go 1 mile and 5/8, and they're going 3 wide the whole way around. And I'm just awed by that. Like, how do you do that, right? Because here you go around the track once and you got to get the inside lane, or your horse is done.
Yeah, he's chewed up and spit out, as they say.
I was calling a race here a couple of years ago, and I don't think it was the whole race, but the horse got caught 2 wide on their half mile track by the half mile station, and he ended up winning. And the guy that I do, like my broadcast partner, was so awed by it. Like, he must have raced a mile, like over 1 mile, obviously, to win, and it's just something you don't see much.
You are right. I was calling a race at Pompano one night, and the horse was sent 3 wide early. He was a favorite, and he not only got chewed up and spit out, he got hung out to dry like wet laundry, and he was nowhere at this finish.
Yeah.
And when a race secretary puts a race together, and all of these horses are supposed to be competitive in the same race, well, when one has to gain 15 lengths or 5 lengths, or is a horse that's in the back of the pack, 10 lengths back, 10 lengths better than the horse that's in the lead in the same class. And I don't see too many closers these days, to tell you the truth.
No, that's true. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Because I even wonder how much just our post position sometimes, messes with a horse. If you're coming from 10 far wide at Mohawk, it definitely makes things tougher compared to the guy who drew the rail. Right. So
no doubt about it.
because
I compare some of these racetracks today, which are honed beautifully. Mohawk, the Red Mile, they're all honed beautifully. I was at a world record race on March 17th, 1962 at Maywood Park, a little half-mile track in Chicago. And there's a world record set there that will never be broken in 1,000 years. And that was a horse by the name of Scottsdam. He was 3 years old. And winter had been warring with spring a little bit. And the track turned into a quagmire with the temperature 33, 31, snow, rain, sleet. And believe this or not, I have the program to prove it. Scottsdam won a mile race in 3:38 3/5. And I will tell you, that was something. And 2 nights later, Bob Farrington had a horse called Great Northern. He won in 3:35 3/5 with a last quarter in 1:03. And Bob told me after he got him to the stall, he said the horse laid down for 3 days straight and didn't even get up to empty out. That's how tired he was.
Man, that's a record you don't want to have, I guess. But
that is for sure. But racetracks are really honed well today. Your racetrack up there, the Woodbine, is fantastic. I miss Greenwood, incidentally. And just it was a great racetrack. And of course, the Red Mile, and of course, we've lost a lot here. Sportsman's Park and Roosevelt Raceway, and I mean, there are 30 or 40 of them you could probably put on the schedule, and we miss every one of them. But not that we need them anymore, because the horse population has shrunk that much.
Yeah. I wonder, like, again, is there a way to do it? Like, I have the problem here in my home province. Our horse population is not. I think we have like 50 horses at best that go in the 50 to 60 horses that go in the box every week when we do run. So the problem is we can either do 5 races of 8, or 5 races of 8 or 9 horses, or you do 10 races of 5 and 6. And that kind of gets me into the next thing I know you've talked about is the wagering side. We live in an era now that it's betting 24/7. Like, you can't watch the Super Bowl without seeing an ad for FanDuel, an ad for this, an ad for that, right? And it's crazy. So what do you think? Do you think the betting side needs, where do you think the betting side needs improvement?
I think we're in trouble, because the problem is the way I look at it. The drag, a lot of people, I don't think the drag should have anything to do with racing anymore, because let's just say a guy's in Chicago and he wants to bet Northfield or the Meadowlands or any track out east. All of a sudden, he's getting to 11 o'clock at night, and the patronage is aging so much that they say, I just can't stay up anymore. So they're losing. To me, you get 12 minutes between races, bingo. You run the business. You tell them post time, they'll get their bets in. They're gamblers. They bet on 2 cockroaches going across the street. And post time was a minute away.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, because I don't have a problem with the time in between if tracks coordinated better too. I think so, especially in the same region. I have this all the time. I'm watching Flamboro and Woodbine or Mohawk, and they have the same race going on at the same time. I'm like, you guys are like, you're like 20 minutes apart. Like, you shouldn't be racing on top of each other, right? So if Mohawk wants to have 20-25 minutes in between a race, that's fine, but they should coordinate with Flamboro and say, put your race in between ours better and do something. And that's where I'm at. But you're right about the betting, because the time in between kills me. Like, baseball's trying to speed up, right? Games were under 2.5 hours all last year with this pitch clock. Hockey is only 2.5 hours. Soccer's barely 2 hours. Football's 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on things. Like, it's crazy to have this time in between, right?
Sure. And even basketball, when they put the 24-second clock in,
Right.
That sped up the game. But I think we're in tough times. Harness racing, as much as I love it, is on, maybe you would call it Social Security, because the casinos, if they didn't have that money, and if the state legislatures didn't put in that money, like at a couple of racetracks I saw, they had $180,000 in purses one day, and the handle was hardly $180,000. And had they based it on that, they'd be racing for $500 a race and not 12,000 a race, you know?
Yeah,
So
that actually brings up another problem I had. I went to Mohawk for the first time last summer for the North America Cup, and I was in awe with the track. But then I was on the casino side, and they had places with TV to bet on that. But I could maybe they did, but I didn't see one TV with the racing on that was still going on, right? So I found that interesting. Where the only other casino I'd ever been to with a track was Century Downs in Calgary, and they had you could see the races obviously from the window, but they also had it in the corner with the racing still going on. So I thought it was interesting where Mohawk didn't have, because to me, I'm like, I would love to go lose a couple $100 playing blackjack, but still be able to see the races right over top,
sure,
right?
sure.
But they didn't have that. But then you could go and bet on every other sport under the sun in the corner there. So I just thought that was interesting too. So the
Well,
casino
and
aspect.
one of the questions that I have is, when our betters, do they bet their home track or a track with which they are familiar, or do they go from track to track to track to track? Betters that I
Yeah.
have talked to, they have one track, that's it. They concentrate on that, whether it's a thoroughbred track or whether it's a harness racing track. They know that track, they know the handicapping, they know the bias, they know a lot of things about it, and they're more comfortable betting on that. And that's why I'm not so sure that a drag is beneficial,
Mhm.
because most of these folks, well, I have one bride in my life right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have 14 brides or that I have to go worry about. I mean, maybe some people do, but I don't. But I'll tell you what I think, that most bettors concentrate on their track, the one with which they are familiar, and that they are going to play all night long, and they have enough to handle with that.
No, I agree. I for one, for money, and like you said, for just familiarity, I try to stick with Western Canada because that's I know the people. I know you're right. You know, which I sometimes I try to bet American tracks. I'm bored and Monticello or the Meadows are on, and I'm like, okay, let's see. But you don't always know which driver is the guy, right? You see the horse is listed as 8-1, but the driver on him might be the best driver at the track. And if you don't watch it enough, you don't know that, right? It's just a name on a program. Where when you bet your track, like you said, I know exactly what trainer could win 10 a night, and which driver can win 5 or 6 races a night. And which horse, and even horses, sometimes you could be like, I know that horse. Ooh, that horse shouldn't be 8-1. Whoever made that is inaccurate because you watch that track enough to know he fits into this class better than the odds makers maybe had. And you're right about that. I think that when you go to that new track, it's uneven. So yeah, the only track I really try to focus on outside of my home area is maybe Mohawk, just because I
Mhm.
find, but even Mohawk, it's tough. 10 horses a field. You know what I mean? And they got 5 or 6 or 7 good drivers. It's hard to do. It's kind of like the Meadowlands, right?
Oh, absolutely, no doubt about it. One of the three best tracks, I think, in North
Hmm.
America. And speaking of the morning line, I was in charge of that, and I'm a stickler about morning lines.
Hmm.
Uh, if I know that a track has a, a key number of 123 for a morning line, people say, well, what do you mean? What do you mean at 123? Well, at Pompano, when we were open, they had a 19% takeout. So what happens is you have to find a number that when you take 19% off of that number, it equals 100, where is close to the net pool that you can get that's going to be paid out. And that was one of the things I did. We had a race there that was so evenly matched that I think I was the only morning line maker in history to make them all one price. I made 6 horses 7-2 in the morning line. I couldn't split them,
Yeah.
so I did it. And it was a little four claimer of one of those pop-up series, and that morning line gave that race so much attention all over the country. People saying, "Oh, man makes morning line history," all that stuff. And that's what we need. We need headlines in this business.
This question I get asked a lot from my friend. I have some coworkers in another job and friends who they gamble. They're sports gamblers, but horse racing is one that they're not into, and they find our betting weird because the odds move, right? They're used to, you bet on the football game, you get it at this odd. It's that odd no matter what, fixed odds, right? Do you think that would get more of a younger crowd involved, or do you think that would hurt the sport because of how our odds move?
I'm not sure that would work, but I think prop betting would help our sport.
Yes. Yeah.
I absolutely think and they've been lagging behind. You know, the world moves ahead, and we're standing still with this. And you gotta get in the ball game and try different things. You know, I'm an old timer and sometimes resistant to change. But I'll tell you have to change for the times to be successful, no doubt about it. You know so much more about computers than I'll ever know, and but you know, I'm happy to rely on you to know all that stuff.
I'm by no means a computer guy. I definitely have my flaws with that too. But I text our friend Ace sometimes when I have problems with our website. So but he's a couple of years younger than me too, so he should be better at it. But yeah, no, that the odds is one that I find because I work as a bouncer on the weekends, and I have some guys we talk about sports betting and everything, and they're going hot on their sports. And then I say, oh, I have my pick 5 here. And they're like, oh, what are you going to win? Because they're used to the parlay where you put $5 on your parlay and it tells you your price the second you bet on it. Right. And I say, oh, I can't tell you that until we're going into the last leg. Right. Because of how it works and everything. And they scratch their heads and they're so confused. And I'm like, hey, I've had it where I've lost money, right? Where you put, $30 onto a 20-cent pick 5. And it pays out only $26. And again, they're just looking at me like, well, why? Because of that one time I might hit the 1,000, because of it. So it's just, it's hard for the average sports gambler to understand, I think. But I get
that's what parimutuel wagering is, wagering among ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing, it's parimutuel wagering. And so that's why the odds change every 45 seconds. And that's just something we have to live with. It's part of our game.
No, by no means do I think we should. I don't know where I sit on that. I thought I heard some track was trying fixed odds, but I never heard from it again. I can't remember where it was or what it was, but I thought I saw somewhere saying that they tried it a day or something, but I don't know how it ever turned out. So I got to use the Google machine and see if I can find that maybe. But or maybe I just dreamed it. I don't know. Sometimes.
Yeah. In the early days of the Hambletonian, they had guys in booths there taking the bets, and they had a blackboard there and erasing odds and putting odds up there and changing them all the time. So I think they were kind of locked in a little bit there, but I'm not sure that it would work. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It depends on the track too, because you don't want someone taking advantage of it where, the track might have to pay out a lot, right? Where sports books, I think it works better. But anyway, we're getting there. Oh, we've time has flew. This went by. I knew it would. When you asked me how long was this going to be, I had no idea because I knew you and I could probably talk all day if we had the ability.
Without question.
Yeah.
Without question.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. It's been great. For anyone watching, you want to check out more of John's work, it's at Harness Link, the hat there, your main attraction column. It's always a great read. I love it. Yeah. Anything else you want to say before we go, John?
No, just I appreciate the opportunity to be with you because you carry the torch, man, and I'll tell you carry it well. And
I'm
trying. Really appreciate it.
I'm trying my best. It was funny because I have a buddy here too who I did my Westie Awards for, like Western Canada, my top picks, and he texts me once in a while. People are still talking about it, and it's that weird thing where people talk about what you do. It's still I don't think you ever get used to it, do you?
No. But I appreciate you inviting me, and it was an honor for me to be with you. And maybe we'll do it again sometime and continue.
Oh, I would love that. Thank you, John.
You're welcome. And thanks. And great luck, everybody. May the horse be with you.
Yeah. And thank you again to John for joining me. Make sure you check out all John's work on harnesslink.com. He writes his main traction column and he does a really good job at it. I love talking to John, and yeah, we'll for sure have to have him back onto the show sometime. Now let's get on to the recap preview action of the program. Here it is. Let's start looking at our recap. We're going to start at the Meadows. All this racing is Friday night action. First at the Meadows, we're going to kick things off. It had the open pace race 8. Let's watch this.
Open pacers on gate, race 8. And they're off. Going for the lead. That's the 2, Lunar, with the 7, Rise and Shine, Seaside. The 1, Sand Between My Toes on the inside is 3rd. That's Prince of Tides away 4th. Into the turn 5th is Patrick the Piranha. Next in 6th. That's American Music, and the early trailer is Lightning on the Beach. The field moves around the first turn over toward the opening quarter-mile marker. It's Rise and Shine, Seaside, and Ronnie ran up on the outside to take the lead away from stablemate Lunar. Field's over to the quarter in 26 4/5. Into the lane for the first time, Rise and Shine, Seaside, in command to the front now. That's Lunar back to 2nd, racing 3rd is Sand Between My Toes. Prince of Tides is 4th. Patrick the Piranha's 5th. 6th is American Music, and the trailer is Lightning on the Beach. Into the turn, they head for the halfway point. It's Rise and Shine, Seaside, the 1-2 favorite, leading the way. Lunar is 2nd, racing 3rd is Sand Between My Toes. Prince of Tides 4th. Next in 5th, that's Patrick the Piranha, 55-3 for the opening half. To the backstretch, 6th is American Music, and the trailer is Lightning on the Beach. They'll straighten out down the backstretch, chasing Rise and Shine, Seaside, getting things his way on the front. Lunar is there in 2nd, Sand Between My Toes, still to the inside 3rd. Prince of Tides is 4th, racing 5th, that's Patrick the Piranha. Then it's American Music, and now to the outside comes Lightning on the Beach. Here comes Prince of Tides to the outside to be followed by Patrick the Piranha. But Rise and Shine, Seaside has been left alone to the 3/4 in 1:23 2. Around the final turn, it's all Rise and Shine, Seaside so far. Lunar staying right with him 2nd. Sand Between My Toes is 3rd. 3 wide on the outside comes Patrick the Piranha. Up the inside is American Music. They turn for home. Now Lunar comes to the outside to try to get to Rise and Shine, Seaside. That's Lunar charging on the outside, and he's got a lot of pace. Lunar is going to go right on by for the win. Battle's going to be on for 2nd. It's Lunar in front. Mile 151. The 2, Lunar.
150-1 there. Dave Pallone was in the bike for trainer Mike Burke, and actually Dave Pallone gets 4. That was his 2nd win of the day. His first win comes in the first race with Francis Underwood. 150-3. Brandon Presto trains this pacer, a 7-year-old gelding by Time to Roll. And then Pallone would win back-to-back races starting here in race 12. Kingston's Bad Boy, 154-1. Another Brandon Presto trained pacer. Shadow Play product. And then he would win race 13, JK Mickey Mantle, 151-2 here. Rick Hercules trains this pacer, a 5-year-old by Always Be Mickey. Another driver to get at least 3 wins was Aaron Merriman. He gets starts things off in race 3 with Other People's Beer. That's something you should never touch. The 10-1 upset here, 153-1. Sarah Andrews trains this pacer, 4-year-old gelding by Art Speak. Merriman will get back to the winner's circle in race 7 with Elver Hanover. Kind of minor 4-1 upset. Michael Burke trains. 151-3 was the mile time for the 7-year-old gelding by Yankee Cruiser. And then Merriman gets his 3rd win in race 11 with Always on the Hunt. A Brandon Presto train, pacer, Always on the Hunt. 7-year-old gelding by American Ideal. 152-1, 29-2. Closing quarter. Wire to wire here. And then another driver got 4 wins, and this was Ronnie Wren Jr. He kicks things off in race 2 with a 5-1 minor upset. The Jason Shaw trained Latavius. They go 155-2. Latavius is a 4-year-old gelding by Father Patrick. Race 4 was Ronnie Wren Jr.'s as well with Cholula. An 8-1 upset, 155 and 4. Kevin Johnson trains this trotter, a 5-year-old mare, by bar hopping. And then Ronnie Ryan Jr. would win back-to-back races starting race 9. Go Pikachu Go, 152 and 3. Mike Burke trains this pacer, 4-year-old gelding, by Heston Blue Chip. And then Ronnie Ryan Jr. would win race 10 with another Michael Burke trained Warwee Yang in the open trot, 21,200 up for grabs. They go 153 and 1. Let's watch here the open trot.
And they're off stride at the start. The 2 Busy Making Money. That's the 3 Windsong Patriot going for the lead with the 4 Warwee Yang. Outside the 5 Killer Instinct. On the inside the 1 Red, White, and Goo. Getting away 5th is Stay Close. Into the turn 6, that's the Great Emotion. And the trailer still off stride is Busy Making Money. Around that first turn, it's Warwee Yang with the lead, but Killer Instinct is on the outside. Racing 3rd is Windsong Patriot. They are over to the quarter in 27 3/5 into the lane for the first time. Warwee Yang's going to control them out today. Killer Instinct now 2nd. Windsong Patriot is 3rd. Red, White, and Goo is 4th. Next in 5th, it's Stay Close. 6th is the Great Emotion, and the trailer is Busy Making Money. Into the turn, they head for the halfway point. The Great Emotion is the first to move to the outside as they roll through the turn. Warwee Yang is the leader. Killer Instinct trots 2nd. Windsong Patriot's going to stay to the inside 3rd. The Great Emotion is going to continue on uncovered. Now takes over the 3rd spot. Behind that one on the outside, here comes Stay Close. On the inside is Red, White, and Goo. They won a 57 and 2 opening half mile. Down the backstretch, open trotters are led by Warwee Yang. Steps away a couple lengths here on Killer Instinct. 3rd on the outside is the Great Emotion. That's Windsong Patriot 4th, outside 5th. It's Stay Close. Red, White, and Goo is 6th, and the trailer is Busy Making Money. Into the turn, they head for the 3/4. It's Warwee Yang with the lead. Killer Instinct staying with him 2nd. Windsong Patriot's going to need some room 3rd. They go by 3/4, 125 and 1. Around the final turn, it's Warwee Yang with the lead. Killer Instinct 2nd. Windsong Patriot now has a clear path 3rd. 4th along the outside is the Great Emotion. On the inside, Red, White, and Goo. They turn for home. Warwee Yang's been there all the way. Killer Instinct closing on the outside. 3rd is Windsong Patriot. Through the stretch, it's Warwee Yang. Killer Instinct on the outside. Warwee Yang get the win. Mile 153 and 1.
Yeah, that's everything from the Meadows. The Meadows will be back in action on Wednesday the 6th. On to another track that had racing yesterday, obviously Friday, Western Fair. One driver had a hat trick, and that was Jason Ryan. He gets his first win here in race 2. Just shocking. 2 minutes and 1/5. A 5-1 minor upset here for the 4-year-old mare by Heston Blue Chip. Ryan will get another win a couple of races later in race 6 with JD Magic Moon. 2 minutes and 1 flat. Another 4-1 minor upset here. 4-year-old gelding by Nonato Hanover this time. Ryan trains this trotter as well. And then race 9, another Jason Ryan win here. He trains this pacer, Million Angels. Wire to wire in 159 flat. A 5-year-old mare by Artspeak. Co-favorite this time. Gets the job done. And then just look here. We're going to take a look at race 4 here. 10-1 upset because the favorite got bumped out. It's Ace 44 Jack leading the way there. There's actually 3 wide right now. And then that horse 2 wide is Where to Buddy Boy. But if you watch real close here, off stride goes Ace 44 Jack, the 3 on the inside. He will rally and get the win. Tech kinda crosses the finish line first, but that 4 right there is Where to Buddy Boy. He gets placed first at 10-1. So that's everything from Western Fair. Now we'll move on to Yonkers. Give me 1 second here. First thing we'll look at is the Filly and Mare Invitational. Race 4. 35,000 up for grabs. Lit D Rose gets the win. Pat LaChance in the bike. He'd actually eventually win 2. He trains this pacer as well here in the Philly Mare Invitational Pace. Let's watch it.
They're all from the far outside. Tony's Mom out and around with Jingra, clears from post 6 rather easily and has a 2-length lead going into the first turn. Uptown Hanover's back in second, followed by Lee DeRose. Then Easy to Please. A length and a half to Violet's Rainbow, and the trailer is Karma Sealster. Tony's Mom aggressive from the outside draw, and her and Jingra have the top. They're a length and a half to the good of Uptown Hanover, who's in a little bit of a loose pocket sitting second. 2.5 more to lead the Rose, the favorites in third, through an opening quarter in a pretty easy 28-1. Fourth is Easy to Please, tracked by Violet's Rainbow. The trailer is Karma Sealster. It's 8 lengths from front to back as the field makes their way into the stretch for the first time here. Tony's Mom, a length and a half. Uptown Hanover second. 2 more back to Lee DeRose and LaChance in third. Then Easy to Please fourth. 2 more to Violet's Rainbow, who returns from the July layoff. And the trailer is Karma Sealster, 57 seconds flat. 28-4 second quarter there for Tony's Mom. Tony's Mom, a tight length. Uptown Hanover creeps closer. It looks like Lee DeRose is going to be first up. LaChance commits first up with Lee DeRose. Catching the covers, Easy to Please. Up the cones comes Violet's Rainbow. The trailer still Karma Sealster. Tony's Mom has led throughout. 3 quarters went in 125-1. Lee DeRose ratchets up the pressure now in second. In the offing, Uptown Hanover poised in the pocket. Covered up is Easy to Please. The field makes their way off the turn and into the stretch. Tony's Mom trying to see it through. Lee DeRose trying to reel her in. Uptown Hanover's locked in the box. 3 wide, Easy to Please. Lee DeRose attacks Tony's Mom and goes by. Lee DeRose and Tony's Mom. Lee DeRose takes the Philly Mare Invitational by a length. Then it was Tony's Mom.
Yeah, and then LaChance will get his second win in race 6 with DW's Point Man. They go 157 flat. He trains this trotter as well, a 4-year-old gelding by my MVP. And then the other driver to get 2 wins yesterday at Yonkers is George Brennan. He gets his first win in race 3 with Swiss House on Fire. Minor 4-1 upset, 157-2. The 7-year-old gelding by Muscle Hill. He'll get his second win later in the card on race 10 with Highland Mowgli. They go 155-4. This time the favorite Mike Burke trains. The 29-1 closing quarter for the 6-year-old gelding by Archangel. Now on to Freehold. One driver got a hat trick yesterday. And that was Austin Siegelman. He gets the first win here in race 5 with Scarborough Fair. 157-2 is the mile time. 3-year-old mare by Always Be Mickey. Gets the second win in race 7 with Jack Fire. Chris Height trains this trotter, a 6-year-old gelding by Cantab Hall. They go 158-1. And he gets his third win in race 9 with Dingle. 159-4 was the mile time. Timothy Lancaster trains this trotter, 5-year-old mare by Explosive Matter. 29 flat, closing quarter. Wins by about 4 or 5 lengths here. Now, this is the first time we'll look at a preview. Freehold has racing on Saturday, today. Post time. Here it is, 12:30. Here is our preview. Saturday, March 2nd, Freehold Raceway. 12 races on the docket. The feature race, race 9. $12,000 up for grabs in the preferred pace. Give a quick look here The 8, a Rock and Roll Star, is the morning line favorite at 5-2. Jim Moran Jr. will be in the bike for that one. Long shot, Great T in Hanover, 25-1. Jonathan Ali in the bike, and that's again race 9 is the feature. And here's your betting choices here. There is a pick 5, kicks off in race 5, goes through to race 9. 2 pick 4s. Kicks off in races 2 and 9. Pick 3s in race 3, 6, and 10. And an early and late daily double to start. And then the card again, Freehold, 12:30 post time today. And we'll have the recap for that. Here's my driver to watch here. Jonathan Ali, like I said, he's got the long shot in the preferred. But look at this is stats as of Thursday. So anything he did yesterday on Friday is not added to this. 399 starts, 53 wins, over $500,000, $542,000. 10 expected starts today at Freehold. He kicks off a race 1 with Here Comes Red, a 5-1 morning line favorite. But again, like I said, 25-1 long shot in the open or the preferred. Yeah, that's my driver to watch. Next track up will be Pocono Downs. Didn't have racing today, so we'll just go straight to preview. They have 14 races on their program. They have the $17,500 in the purses for the Game of Claims Series Leg 1. Races 1, 3, 5, 7, 10, and 12. So getting things going here. They have 6 divisions for the Game of Claims going on today. Post time 1 p.m. Eastern time. All the times are in Eastern time. Their betting options, they got the pick 5 kicking off in race 5. Pick 4s in race 1 and 10. They have 2 pick 3s. And they do have an early and late daily double. My driver to watch for Pocono Downs is Ridge Warren. As of end of day Thursday, his 88 starts, 14 wins, $1,047.30 in earnings this year. 12 expected starts out of the 14 races. His first start in race 1, he's got a 9-2 morning line favorite in JK Music Man. And then he'll bounce back in race 2, come back in race 2 with a 4-1 max. So, you know, he's going to be all over the card. So he's my driver to watch here in Pocono. Next track up, we'll preview Saratoga. Post time 5 p.m. Eastern time. They have a feature race 6, the $15,000 open pace. Who's in this? The favorite, morning line favorite, is the 8, Rock and Roll Runa. Larry Stahlbaum trains and drives that pacer. The long shot in that race, 12-1. The 2, Century Endeavor with Brett Beckwith. And he's actually going to be my driver to watch in this one, which we'll talk about later. But there's a pick 5, pick 4, a couple pick 3s, early and late daily double. And again, 5 p.m. post time Eastern. And my driver to watch, Brett Beckwith, got the long shot in the open pace. But he's got 460 starts, 98 wins, just shy of $1 million. 11 expected starts on Saturday at Saratoga. He's got a big, heavy favorite to kick off the day in Big Idea. Gets the rail, 7-5 morning line odds. 5-1 Barry White Hanover in the second. But like I said, it has the long shot. In race 6, the open. 12-1 long shot, Century Endeavor. So watch out for that. Next track we'll preview Buffalo Raceway, 6 p.m. post time. Let's let the slide move over here. 13 races on tap. 2 feature races. Race 7, the Open Pace, 14,000 in both, and the Open Trot goes race 9. Race 7, the Open Pace, morning line favorite is the 1, Umberto. David McKnight trains and drives. The long shot in the Pace is the 7, Tap, 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 Kyle Cummings. In the bike for Whitney Johnson comes to 10-1. A couple races later is the Open Trot. Favorite in this one at 3-1 is the 2, Jacked. Joseph Chindano in the bike for Maria Rice. The long shot in the trot is the 8, Conair Hall. David McKnight in the bike for that one. 13 races. Pick 5 starts in race 2. Pick 4 in race 7. Pick 3 in race 11. Daily doubles, they got 3 early, late, and that mid card one. And my driver to watch is Greg Merton. 7 expected starts on Saturday at Buffalo Raceway. 110 starts so far, again, as of Thursday. 28 wins, over $131,000 in earnings. He's got a couple favorites on the board, a couple good shots. Weirdly enough, not in either Open, but he is sprinkled around the rest of the card. We'll keep going with our preview here. Next up, Northfield Park. They actually have racing Saturday and Sunday. So let's take a look at Saturday first. 15 races. The feature is race 6, the 18,000 filly then mare's Open Pace. 6 will go to post. The favorite is the 6, Creme Delight. Ronnie Wren Jr. is in the bike for Michael Burke. The long shot in that one at 10-1. Delightful Act. Hunter Myers will be in charge of the reins. Post time 6 p.m. here at Northfield Park. They have a pick 6 kicking off in race 8. Pick 5 in race 6. A couple pick 4s. Pick 3s. I believe a couple daily doubles as well. Yeah, 2 daily doubles there as well. And look at their Sunday, March the 3rd. First time we look at a Sunday card. Kicks off at 6 p.m. again. 15 more races. They're featured. Race 4, 18,000 in the Open Trot. The favorite, 3-2, Tequila Talkin'. Ronnie Wren is in the bike for Michael Burke. The long shot, 25-1. Greg Gismore in the bike for Set It and Forget It. Wonder if the rail horse will get the upset. Pick 6, 5, 4, 3, all the same races. And they also have a race 13, Open 2 Pace, 15,500. He's in this one race. The favorite in that one is at 5-2, American Fling, Billy Davis Jr. in the bike for Randy Mendez. And the long shot, 2 long shots at 15-1. The 1, Catch Me Conrad with Kurt Sugg. And the 3, Dillinger with Drew Neal at 15-1. And here it is, everything going on at Northfield on Sunday. And there's a couple daily doubles as well. The next track we'll look at is Meadowlands. They had racing yesterday night. And let's take a look here. Some drivers to take note of. Oh, here's my driver to watch. Sorry, I forgot my driver to watch at Northfield Park. Aaron Merriman. 542 starts this year as of Thursday. 116 wins. That is not his correct earnings. I apologize for that. What is his correct earnings? We'll find that out later. At 23 expected starts on Saturday and Sunday at Northfield Park. That is not his correct earnings. I knew I was going to have an error on the graphic. And there's my first one. But that's okay. Still watch Aaron Merriman. Here we are on the Meadowlands. Dexter Dunn gets a hat trick on Friday night, race 2. American Way in 153 flat, wins by a neck here. And then Dexter Dunn will get back in the winner's circle. Race 9 with Vegas, 153-1, 27-1 closing quarter. And he finishes off the hat trick. Race 11, Southwind Frost, 154-4. An 8-year-old gelding by E.L. Titan. All right, we'll look at a couple drivers who picked up 2 wins. First, we'll look at Brett Beckwith. He gets 2 with a couple Alberta bred. First up, Virtual Horizon, 155-1, the Vertical Horizon gelding. Jackie Green trains this pacer now. People from Alberta will definitely know Virtual Horizon. And then another Jackie Green train side piece. BC bred, this one. Spent some time in BC and Alberta. But Brett Beckwith in the bike again for 152-1. The Alberta breds getting it done in the Meadowlands. And then Todd McCarthy would also get 2 wins. Race 6 is his first. Call Me Danny, 154-3. Christopher Lakota trained Trotter, a 5-year-old mare by Dover Dan, 154-3. Like I said, 2-1. Minor upset. I never know. The favorite, Stormont Divide, finished second at about even money. I never know how to classify that. Technically, it wasn't the favorite. And then race 8 was Todd McCarthy's second win. Shake It Twice at 3-1. Beats up the favorite Batitude, 152-4, 27-2 closing quarter. Maria Reed trains Shake It Twice, a 4-year-old mare by Sports Rider. And then David Miller also gets 2. He gets at 6-1 Twin B Sun Kiss for Michael Burke in the 10th, 151-4, 26-3 closing quarter. And then he would also get the win in race 14 with the Izzy Estrada train Miss Macy in 154-1. Miss Macy's a 4-year-old mare by Better Than Cheddar, 28-3 closing quarter for the co-favorite. And now let's look at our Saturday preview for the Meadowlands. 14 races. Post time Eastern is, here it is, 6:20 Eastern, 14 races. Their feature, nothing crazy, 23,000 though in race 10 for non-winners of 20,000 their last 4. And it's a trot. They have a pick 8, pick 7, pick 6, pick 5, couple pick 4s, bunch of pick 3s, and some daily doubles. My driver to watch is Jason Bartlett. He has 10 expected starts on Saturday today. 343 starts so far this year, 85 wins, over 1.5 million already as of Thursday. Jason Bartlett will be in the bike 10 of the 14 races, so make sure to watch out for him. Next track we will look at has racing on Saturday and Sunday. The preview, Flamboro Downs. On Saturday, 10 races. The feature is 8,400 in the fillies and mares, non-winners of 3, or 34,000 lifetime. 2 pick 5s, kicking off in race 1 and race 6. A couple pick 4s, pick 3, and a couple daily doubles. And I believe they have almost the exact same thing on Sunday. It's a little different feature race, 84,000, but this time it's just non-winners of 3 and 37,500 trot. A couple pick 5s, a couple pick 4s, pick 3, and of course the daily doubles. Post time on Sunday is 6:55 Eastern time, while on Saturday it is a little earlier, right? It's 6:35 Eastern time. And the driver I have to watch, Daryl Thiessen. Watch out for him. 264 starts already this year as of Thursday, 45 wins, over 270,000 in earnings, 9 expected starts over the 2 days. So 9 out of 20 starts, not too bad. So watch out for Daryl Thiessen, my driver to watch. Next track we will look at, Woodbine Mohawk Park. They had racing last night before we look at the preview. James McDonald had 5. He actually wins the first 3 races of the night. Wins the first race here with Angostura Hanover in 152 flat. 26-4 closing quarter. Ooh, crazy fast closing quarter. Beats out here at 15-1 Glenborough. And Travis Cullen had the lead until right about there. And then they lost it just by a nose. James McDonald will also win race 2 with Margot's Got the Cargo. Same thing this time, a 27-1 long shot. Yes, I'm hungry with Phil Houdon. Now he's passed, and Margot's Got the Cargo gets the win there. And then race 3, McDonald gets the hat trick. Wildcat Star has the lead down the stretch here, 151-3. 5-year-old mare by Better's Delight. And then you'll get the next win in race 6. Catch My Breath, 154-2. A Thinking Out Loud filly, 3 years old. Paces a 27 flat, closing quarter. And then McDonald get his 5th win in race 8 with Spicy Redhead. 156-1 was the time. Wins by a neck here. The 5-year-old mare by Prayer I Am. The Inquiry, I believe, was just a horse outside the fair starting pole. Potentially early on, or an early break. But James McDonald gets 5. And as we move on to that, let's take a look at our Saturday preview of Woodbine Mohawk Park. Post time, 7:10 p.m. Here we go, 10 races. The preferred 32,000, preferred 2 pace, race 5. Of course, they got their 2 pick 5s, races 1 and 6, 2 pick 4s, rolling pick 3. So starts every race from race 1 all the way to race 8. And of course, they have their rolling daily doubles as well, starting races 1 all the way to race 9. I don't have a driver to watch. Just watch out for James McDonald. He wins 5 today. I'm sure he'll win a few more if he's on the card tomorrow. So yeah, watch out for James McDonald. On to Fraser Downs, they had late night racing last night. First thing we'll look at, a 14-1 upset in race 5. Outlaw Electric Blue at 14-1 gets the win. Constance Coldhammer in the bike for the horse she trains as well. 3-year-old filly by Captive Audience. And then Kelly Hort gets a hat trick. He wins races. He starts things off in race 3 here with Alligator and 159-1. Heavy favorite, the better than Cheddar Colt. Paces to a 29-2 closing quarter. And then his second win comes the next race, race 4. He trains in the high cotton as well. 155-2, 28-4 closing quarter. A some beat somewhere mare. And then he gets his third win in race 6 with another pacer he trains, this time Diva Moore, 4-year-old mare by Custard the Dragon. 157 flat, 29-3 closing quarter. And then let's take a quick preview here of Fraser Downs. Today, post time 10 p.m. Last track to kick off on Saturday, sorry. My days are all mixed up here. 9 tracks in action on Saturday. Fraser Downs is the last to kick off. We've looked now at Freehold, Pocono, Saratoga, Buffalo, Northfield, Meadowlands, Flamboro, Woodbine, and Fraser Downs. The feature race here, Fraser Downs tonight. Race 3, 8,500, and then the $20,000 claiming pace. Pick 5 kicks off in race 3. Pick 4 and 4. Pick 3 and 5. And the daily doubles early and late. Driver to watch tonight. Scott Knight, 38 starts so far, 14 wins. That's not counting a couple he put up last night. 64,000. Again, that's not counting what he did last night on Friday. 7 expected starts on Saturday here today at Fraser Downs. Next track we will look at here is Miami Valley. Racing on Sunday, March 3rd, Sunday. Post time 4 p.m. We've already looked at a few cars on Sunday, sorry. Here it is, 14 races. Feature race, race 9, 26,500. That should be 500, not 5,000. For that race. Pick 5 kicks off in race 10. A couple pick 4s, a couple pick 3s, and a couple daily doubles. And the driver I have to watch here, is Trace Dietrich. 469 starts, 73 wins. Over 1.2 million in earnings. 10 expected starts. That should say only on Sunday at Miami Valley Raceway. There's no racing on Saturday, just on Sunday. 4 p.m. Eastern post time. And the last track we'll look at today, Cal Expo has racing Friday night, and we'll also have a Sunday preview. We'll kick things off here with the Fillies and Mares Open Pace, 7,000 up for grabs. Race 4. Ain't She Special wins. Luke Plano trains and drives. 157-4, 27-2 closing quarter. Let's watch this.
Here they come. And they're off. That's Ain't She Special going for the lead. On the outside, Graceful Horizon showing speed, and Graceful Horizon on the outside moves up for the lead. Along the inside, pushing the pace is Ain't She Special, and these two duke it out a little early, and now taking the lead is Graceful Horizon. Yielding in second is Ain't She Special, having left to come away in third, and another 2.5 lengths back is Give Me This Dance. Stars and Stripes is fourth, and the backfield is completed with Velocity McSweets. That's the 5, ladies, as they race by the opening quarter in 30 3/5 seconds. Up the backstretch they go, and now here comes Ain't She Special. And Ain't She Special moves up and takes over the point. This puts Graceful Horizon into the pocket, second by 2. Give Me This Dance is third by 2. Stars and Stripes is fourth. The back marker remains Velocity McSweets. 9/16 of a mile to go. Luke Plano has Ain't She Special on top, a length and a quarter. Graceful Horizon's in the pocket in second. Narrowing the gap in third. Give Me This Dance. Stars and Stripes out slightly in fourth. And Velocity McSweets. Half was through in 1 flat. 30-2 for the second quarter. The leader by a length and a quarter is Ain't She Special. Right there in the pocket. Second is Graceful Horizon. She's right on the helmet of Luke Plano. Followed in third by Give Me This Dance, who moves to the outside. 2 lengths to fourth, finds Stars and Stripes. Another 2 1/4 to Velocity McSweets. Under a grip on the lead is Ain't She Special. Up on the outside, her stablemate, Give Me This Dance. A bit loose on the inside, Graceful Horizon. 3/4, 130 and 2. 29 and 2 for the third quarter. They're in the stretch. Ain't She Special has the lead. The advantage is a length and a half. On the outside, Give Me This Dance. Up the inside, Graceful Horizon. Still there is Ain't She Special, and she's holding firm. The battle's going to be for second. Ain't She Special to win it. Going to be real tight for second between Give Me This Dance or Graceful Horizon. That can go either way, leaning toward the fourth.
Yeah, and that again was Ain't She Special winning that. Jacob Cutting gets 5 wins. Starts off with winning the first 3 races of the card. Down it in 157 and 4 to kick things off a 4-1 upset here. AK Up and Adam, the Manitoba bred, goes 14 and 1, finishes second, and Better's Promise at 22-1 finished third, making a $77 triactor based off the 20-cent wager. Race 2, Jacob Cutting this time with the favorite. Helen's Girl goes 159 and 4. 8-year-old mare by Straight Shooting. Real muddy track there in Cal Expo last night, but Cutting's finding a way to get the job done. Race 3, he wins back here with Rockin' Science. The favorite again, Daryl Cutting trains. 157 flat, 28 and 2 closing quarter. 7-year-old gelding by Rockin' Image wins by a nose. And race 6, Cutting gets the win here for Richard Bertrand. All About Time, 14-1 upset, 2 minutes and 3/5. The favorite, Celebrity Status, finished third, 4-1. Another Tough Woman finished second. Any crazy payouts? Pick 3, $176, probably because of this. And then Cutting gets race 7 as well. It's an Ultra Sunrise in 2:01 and 2. 31 closing quarter. Renee Goulet trains. 7-year-old mare by Vertical Horizon. And then here we'll look at our Sunday preview at Cal Expo. Some stake race action. 4-year-old California sired. Got the race 5, 20,000 in there for the California sired stakes, 4-year-old filly mares. Race 6, 20,000. The California 4-year-old horse and geldings. Race 4, 8,000 in the open pace. And race 10, 8,800 in the open trot. Post time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And this is the betting options Cal Expo has. Pick 7. Kicks things off in race 3. 2 pick 5s in race 1 and 6. A pick 4. Let's sprinkle some pick 3s in there, starting in races 2, 3, 4, and 8. And of course, the early and late daily double. 10 races. Kicks off 8 p.m. Oh, and there's my driver to watch. Luke Plato, 121 starts, 21 wins. Just shy of 160,000 as of Thursday night, not counting anything that happened last night. 8 expected starts out of the 10 on Sunday. Does he have any? Let's take a quick look. Does he have any in the features? In the open pace, race 4, he has the favorite at 2-1, Dance and Lance. So watch out for that. In race 6, the California Sire Stakes 4-year-old horse and geldings. Not driving right now. In race 5. Yeah, in the California fillies and mares, he gets the rail horse Made of Mischief at 7-2. And in the open trot, the 2-1 favorite, he trains it as well, Jack Rabbit Slim. So yeah, watch out for driver to watch, Luke Plano. And that's everything I have for you today. Like I said, hopefully we'll build on that as things get more exciting and there's more race action and more stake action. So make sure to keep your eye on harnesslink.com because that's where we're at. That's where Harness News Update proudly is presented on, is harnesslink.com, the only harness racing website truly dedicated to covering news and events in the standardbred industry worldwide. And we're sponsored by HarnessBid because HarnessBid is a game changer, just like this show, for the harness racing bloodstock industry. Provides buyers and sellers with an easy-to-use online platform that offers global reach, unparalleled transparency, and convenience for you, its customers. So check out harnessbid.com for more. And thank you to our friends at the USTA. Without them, none of this would be possible. I'll be back on Monday to recap all this action that I previewed briefly today. And we'll be back on Wednesday and Friday as well. And hopefully next Saturday, we'll be back again as well. And we'll continue to preview all the weekend action. Thank you again to John for speaking to me at the beginning of the episode. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.